on Cool FM from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bye! Hello! Bon dia! Mira kasi bisa bong si Mang, and it's like every week I do that. Happy weekend, because it's totally Saturday. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. We will be speaking mostly in English today, because it's important for me, for our guests to be able to express themselves in whatever language they feel the best, unless it's a language I don't speak, obviously. But y'all know that. So, good morning. I hope that you had a good week. It was a productive one, whatever that means to you. I feel like this week went by a little fast and a little slow all at the same time. But it was a good one. So yeah. And I got here extra early today, so all my lights are on. For those of you that were wondering, I will not be running around. And we have a full house, as you can see if you are watching us, because we have the whole team of Cosmetica, and that was a super cute message I got last night. And I was like, oh my gosh, they are just as excited as I am. So that's really nice, always. So hello, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Carolina, and I am the host of Sincerely Carolina, where we talk about whatever I want to talk about. But of course, we want to educate and motivate and inspire for you to make better choices. So today we're going to be talking about I don't want to say beauty, but I guess beauty is a big part of it. But I guess how beauty standards internationally, social media, and whatever our peers influences us to make decisions, some awesome ones and some not so awesome ones sometimes. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, and we'll be talking to experts. And when I say experts, they are aesthetic physicians, and some of you might not know what that means or what that is, but do not worry, they will explain in a little bit. So I just want to say thank you to my awesome sponsors, of course. Thank you so much to Total, to Crest, and to Swift, Sarah V. So I don't know if you saw my stories, but I will be doing a super cute giveaway based on today's episode. So make sure you listen. So when I quiz and you get the answer right, you participate to win. And also remember that we still have the back to school giveaway going around. Tell me about awesome teacher stories or not so awesome teacher stories so we can spill the tea next week. All right, so without further ado, I have Dr. Desiree and Dr. Noreen in the house. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Good morning. Bon dia.
Bon dia. All right, so whoever wants to go first, please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here today.
Okay, well, Noreen is pointing at me, so I'll start. Hi, everybody. My name is Desiree van den Berg. I'm a medical doctor from the Netherlands originally. And I just moved here 1 year ago, and I really, really love Aruba. My youngest girl, she's born here. She's an island girl. And we started Cosmetica together. It's Dr. Noreen and Jonathan, who is also here today. And we are super excited to bring you some really expertise on fillers, on Botox, because that's what we are specialized in. And we would love to explain you more about it. But with no further ado, let me give you Dr. Noreen.
Bon dia, bon dia. My name is Noreen, and I am originally from our lovely island of Aruba. I left when I was quite young and spent quite a lot of years in Holland studying medicine. Once you start that, you get stuck for a long time.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and we recently moved back, me and my hubby and our 2-year-old. So we've been back for about 10 months, and I've been homesick for a long time. So I'm very happy to be back, and I'm even more excited to have started this fantastic venture with Desiree and Jonathan and our lovely clinic manager, Berlinda, who has also joined us today.
Yeah, let's not forget her.
So, yes, and we are very happy to be here. Thank you for having us, and we are excited to share anything and everything that you want to know.
Awesome. All right, so I'm always like playing with the mics and stuff like that, so I'm going to do like a switch. I just want to see if it sounds better.
You do your thing, girl.
Okay, I'm back. Am I back? I am. Okay, am I? I'm not sure if I am back. Oh, it's asking me to turn something off. Okay. Alexa, if you're in the house, make sure that I'm sounding good. Alexa is the studio manager and owner. So I have been doing this for like 6 months, and I feel like I have it figured out, and then I still panic. Is that like a thing that we do, right? women, and I'm gonna jump right into that because I feel that we talk on the show a lot about like social pressures and things that drive behavior, right? And I think that the beauty industry has targeted women for like many, many, many years into believing that aging is like a bad thing, and also changing beauty standards continuously. So like what we thought was like super beautiful like maybe 10 or 15 years ago versus now is like completely different, which obviously causes a lot of like cognitive dissonance in people because they're constantly thinking like, oh my gosh, I just achieved like this beauty standard according to, and now I'm like not beautiful anymore, right? And of course, men feel targeted as well, but I don't think as much. So I am sure that we have seen, and when I say we, our whole community, a growth in the need for certain practices, for certain services on the island, but also internationally, without maybe truly understanding what it is that we are asking for or doing. And not only like internationally, like in the sense of like requesting for certain services, but also developing studies that, were not available many, many years ago. So an aesthetic physician is something relatively new.
It is.
And I'm so happy it exists because sometimes we tend to think that we should target like the root cause of certain things and be like, oh no, change like the whole like beauty standard or whatever. I'm not big on that, and if you have listened to me for a while, I believe in people doing whatever they want to do. But whatever you do it right and do it well, do it safely. So I'm really happy that the medical community decided that we need to establish like better guidelines and like a whole specialty to ensure that people are receiving like quality and safe services for something that they want. So you are both medical, no, they're called aesthetic physicians
or medical doctors.
Yeah, you're both medical doctors for sure. So you had to do that first, and then Noreen, I think you were an orthopedic doctor as well first, right? Mm-hmm. So you did something else first, and then you decided to go into this. Can you maybe explain, any of you, what this looks like? Because I don't think that people understand that this is not like a course you go to, a weekend or a couple of weeks. This is serious, like, human anatomy and understanding the, physiological aspect of our skin, our faces, for you to be doing the job that you do, right? So can you maybe explain what that is? And, maybe if you have like some insight as to how this specialty has developed as well. Any of you can go.
Both of us.
Yeah, we will add to each other.
Yes.
Well, to become a cosmetic doctor in the Netherlands takes you, after you become a medical doctor, 2 years of internship, but also a lot of, hoe do you say, snijzalen?
A lot of anatomical
anatomical
training.
practices,
Yeah.
so you can really understand
With
the different
cadavers and
layers. Yeah, and cadavers.
Okay.
Different layers of the face, because you have all these different layers of the face, and when you inject fillers, you need to know exactly in which layer you are injecting, because at some layers, if you are not deep enough, it will only make the skin more heavy, and it will only give more sagginess. Whereas if you inject more deeper at the place where you want to inject, you can give a huge lift to a face and really make it much better. But also you need to understand what are anatomical danger points, because potentially, and I don't mean to scare anybody, because the chances are super, super, super small, but if you inject in an artery, for example, that's going to the eye, you can potentially get blind.
Yeah.
And I mean, we doctors, we know exactly what we're doing. We know the danger zones. We do not treat noses for that reason.
We don't.
No.
Because it's a high-risk area.
Exactly. There's big arteries there going to the towards the eye. And if you are do so many treatments as we do, because we've been doing this for 7+ years, both of us.
Oh, nice.
You will eventually get, I think.
I mean, it's statistics, right? Yes, it will happen.
And anyone who says it was never had a complication has either not treated enough or is slightly being shady. Maybe.
No. We both agree on that. But
more importantly, what Desiree says, of course, deep understanding of anatomy, physiology. You need to be able to treat your complications as well. If something arises, you need to know how to deal with that. So aftercare is extremely important.
Yeah.
And like Desiree also touched upon, it's not a course you can do in a day or two or a training. I mean, you can get a certificate for a course, but that does not make you an expert. It takes years of training. It's not, you have first, I mean, in the US, you can be a nurse injector as well, but they also have years of training before.
I was going to say that.
Exactly.
Systems can be different as to like how people become certified to do a certain job. But
the medical background.
Yes, exactly.
Years
and it
of
takes
training,
years. Exactly.
And even then, when you have a certificate, it's like schoenmaker blijft bij je leest. If you keep doing years and years and years what you're good at, then you will have seen everything. You will have seen all complications. You know exactly, okay, this will not work with this patient. This will work with that patient. So it's all about years and miles that you make, I think, in treatments as well. And
I mean, we've both done courses that last a day or half a day, and it's fun, and it's, you learn, but by no means, which is why we can say this, does that make you proficient in what you do or an expert. No.
So, okay, so I think we have done a good job at explaining that it's a medical profession. You are both medical doctors, and we were chit-chatting, and I always say this: we always chit-chat before the episode and after the episode. But we were talking about how regulation also makes a difference. So for a very long time, around the world, really, beauty has not really been regulated, right? Unless it's a super invasive, like surgical procedure. It was definitely not regulated. And it's not just like who does the procedures, but also the products used, the equipment used, etc. Now in Aruba, for those of you that were wondering, if you don't know, we have like the ARUBEG, which is a new legislation which registers physicians and different specialties, and this is one of them that is mentioned in them. And I know that not everybody is interested in like new laws, because unless it affects you, we tend to like ignore them or not be too concerned with them. But I do think that it is important for us to know that Aruba does also have some regulations, which means that a lot of procedures that maybe we were used to going just about anywhere for are actually regulated now. It's just like the whole discussion with like medications, like you can't buy certain medications, in like a grocery store. That's not how it's supposed to work. There's like risks. And the products that you are using to, like, for example, inject fillers and Botox and stuff are medical products, so they shouldn't be readily available just anywhere and provided just anywhere. But before we explain a little bit of that, can we maybe explain to people what Botox and fillers are? Because I think that the terms are used interchangeably and they are not. So maybe can you explain a little bit about, when and why they're used in your profession, but maybe also in other professions? Because I know, like, for example, Botox is also used in other professions. So can you maybe explain a little bit about that?
About what you do? Botox and you want to do fillers?
Yeah, fine.
Is that like how you divide? Do you like Botox more than fillers, or is it just like?
No, it's just
okay. Just wondering.
We both love both.
Oh yeah, we do.
Botox is basically a protein. Botulinum toxin is the full term for it, and people use Botox because it's easy on the mouth, it's easy to say, and it just happens to be a brand name which is trademarked, registered, and protected by Allergan, who was recently acquired by AbbVie. Okay. So yeah, everybody says Botox, so it's marketed fantastically.
Right?
It's botulinum toxin, yes, it is. And you have different companies and have different toxins, each have their own name. Let's say Azalure, you have Dysport, you have Bocature, you have Botox, etc. And it's a protein that binds itself. Shall we get technical?
A little bit.
Let's just say it blocks the signals and therefore the communication between the muscle fibers, so they cannot or they can contract less.
Yes, I feel like that is good technical. So people understand how it works, right?
Yes. And there's a gray scale in it, because Botox, it doesn't mean either not having Botox and being full of wrinkles or having Botox and being frozen. There's a lot of gray that we can do.
I was going to say that.
We can soften, we can modulate, so we have a lot of room to play with. So it's not that black and white. Botox does not equal frozen.
And we have medical Botox as well.
Of course, yes, we do. Yes, so Botox, not only cosmetically, but we can use it for grinding of the teeth, for example, to protect your teeth, or people that have a lot of pain and what's it called?
In the teeth, the clenching.
Yeah, the clenching and the joint. I was going to say mandibular joint, but let's not keep it too technical. Yeah, joint pain, because you clench a lot, and excessive sweating. You can use it on the armpits, the soles of your feet, the palms of your hand.
Oh, really?
Control that, yes.
Well, actually, I do not do that, but
No,
I
it's
think,
very painful.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
actually nobody comes in. But armpits is very popular, especially, here in Aruba, where it's warm. So it can help a lot for that. Migraines is another one that it helps a lot. And what we've been seeing on social media a lot recently is trap talks. It's a very trending topic.
Okay.
It's not something new. You have to be judicious when you use it. You can use it if you have, I'm sorry about that, I moved away from the mic. If you have a lot of tension in the muscle, and you actually have experience pain, their tension, it can be a solution. But we as doctors have to be very judicious about using it, because you're seeing it now a lot to elongate the neck and make a pretty neck, etc. So be cautious with trends you see on social media.
Of course. And I just want to say, like, a quick funny note. I learned about Botox being used under the armpits or on the armpits for sweating, because my niece mentioned it. She's 17 now, and she just keeps saying, she's like, I just want to be like old enough where I can like go to a physician and talk about like my sweating, because I feel like I need that. And I was like, I will, if they don't talk about it, tomorrow during my show, I will make sure to ask about it, because I don't think people understand that like this can be.
No, it can really socially affect your life.
Yes,
Very much. We have a lot of clients coming, they don't dare to give presentations at work because of their shirts, they don't dare to wear light colors, only dark colors. They have 3 shirts in their car because they know every few hours I need to change my shirt. It's really socially, it can be limiting if you sweat so much. And really with Botox, we can make it completely stop or make it much, much less. So it's really a wonderful treatment.
It is a psychological effect of what we can reach with our treatments, medical and both non-medical. It's not just a frivolous, superficial.
I was gonna say
specialization.
that
We can actually create very profound psychological changes in people for the good.
Of course.
And that's what we both really stand for. You can you have all different aesthetic doctors, and a lot of doctors I know, they like to do trends or follow trends, cat eyes, things like that. And me and Noreen, we were both not like that. We would really like to enhance your own beauty, be the best version of yourself. And that's really how we make our treatment plans also. Like, we don't want that your husband or your mother or anyone sees that you've done Botox or fillers. We only want to hear from you when you come back for your checkup. Wow, I've got all these compliments. Everybody's telling me like, whoa, you look so good. Did you do something with your hair? Did you change your makeup? That's what we want. We do not want to change faces. This is really not what we stand for.
Because you can, and beauty is obviously in the eye of the beholder.
Yes,
everyone has their own standards, and if someone says, I like a very pronounced look of my mouth or cheekbones, that is, you do you. That's your thing. But then I or Desiree are not the doctor for you, and that's perfectly okay.
Like, we will get a little bit more into the psychological aspect too, because I think that when we talk about these type of procedures, people do indeed go to a very safe zone of like, why would you want to do that? It's so vain or so superficial, like you're being peer pressured. And in some cases that could be driving some people. But like you said, stuff like sweating, I don't think that unless you have been in a situation where you, before leaving the house, you have to think about like taking extra shirts before accepting a speech or participating in, a project or whatever, you have to consider, is this gonna, make me sweat to the point where I'm gonna be embarrassed or not feel equipped to do this, which I am sure will stop people from doing things that could potentially be really good for like their lives, their careers. So we'll get a little bit deeper into that. So in any case, can you explain to us what fillers
are? Well, you have all different types of fillers, but we like to use the hyaluronic acid fillers. These are fillers that we can completely dissolve. again. So this makes it such a safe treatment to do, because if you don't like it, or you have a complication, or for whatever reason you want it out of your face, you can dissolve it.
Okay.
So hyaluronic acid, what it does, it is a gel, and it attracts water and holds it.
Okay.
So it gives volume because of that. But in the same time, when you inject it correctly, it will integrate with the rest of the tissue. So you will not feel it anymore, and it will just be integrated. Depending on where you inject it, it will either give you a lift, or it will give you a little enhancement of some volume. It can make wrinkles disappear when you use the skin booster hyaluronic acid. But when you inject it in the chin, for example, or in the jawline, you can really make a strong jawline, or make your chin come more forward if it's really protruded, and that will give support to the lips again. Same with the eye bags. If you have really deep eye bags under your eye, and you put a little bit of filling right there, it will really brighten up your whole face, and you will not look tired anymore. So it's really what we do with our 3D imaging. We really look at where is a place that you lack some volume, or you have lost volume because of aging, and we can bring back or restore some of that volume to make you look like you did before, or make you look more fresh, or more brightened up, and that will give back a bit of confidence to some people.
Of course, I can imagine that.
And that's the psychological part of it that we always try to aim for. We ask our clients when they come in, like, not where do you want volume, or what is it that you want? No, how would you like to feel about your appearance? And that can be really deep, and there's really people who feel like, well, I don't like to look at myself in the mirror, or I don't like to see pictures of myself. Or, I see people, they always hide their chin because they know for some reason their mouth is a little bit down, or they don't have a lot of chin. And this really is something that they dislike in their face. So if you really get into the psychological part of it, you can really help people to realize, okay, but this is what you don't like about your face, but we can easily treat that with a little bit of filling.
Yes. And I love science. I am so grateful for science.
Me too.
And I say this because, for if there are any Puritans out there listening, live your life. But I'm here for people doing, again, like what I already mentioned, doing whatever works for you and helps you feel better, and become a better version of yourself. So we'll go into that, right away. And when we talk about how our appearances affect us, right? It is a very complicated conversation, and it can become a very complicated discussion, especially for women. In my case, I am very strong on women empowerment, and not the boss girl, be a CEO empowerment, but just live your life, whatever that means. If you never want to touch makeup and you want to go all natural, never have kids, whatever it is that you want to do you. I am happy that we live in a world where you get to do that. But if you do want to make use of all of science, and what about that too, that is not something we can fight, right? I mean, we can do a lot of stuff to try to take care of our skin, etc., but genetics will play a role. So some people will have an appearance of aging that is more pronounced than others. And then if people choose not to do anything about it and just let it be, especially women, they tend to be criticized for that choice. You let yourself go, and sometimes it's not in people's hands. They literally cannot do anything about it. Maybe they did all the right things, wore all the SPF, but still, it's genetics. And then in other cases, when people do choose to do what people call preventative Botox, or treatments at a younger age, then immediately there's also a lot of backlash attached to it, and shame. So we are living in a very cautious world where it's doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. But I would like to hear a little bit more from you, maybe the misconceptions that people have around this, that it is what I hear from you is that you do not want to achieve a super person that you cannot recognize. It is understanding your situation and treating your situation, and figuring out what works for your body, your face. Can you maybe explain about how this truly affects people? I have heard people deny having done something to themselves because they are so afraid of whatever backlash comes from that, right? How do you see it being on the other side of that, like in the profession that you are? Like, how do we have these conversations with people that we normalize just making whatever choice works for you? I don't know. It's a very big question, but chime in, please.
Well, what we really aim to do is we are in one room, you and me and the client.
Mm-hmm.
And what I always try to tell them is really everything that we will talk about will stay within this room. And the 3D picture that we make will show them like how they look. But also our explanation about the skin, but also about genetics, how your skull looks. This is something that you got from your parents. This is not something that you can change. Will really give a good insight on how they look. Having said that, there is things you can do, but there is also, a certain age that you need to achieve to make profound choices in life. So I'm not a doctor who likes to treat young women because I think they are more going for a trend instead of really making a choice consciously. So for me, I always say like 25 years is from 25 years is a good age to do treatments. Also because when you see at the aging process from 25 on, you start losing collagen and elastin in your skin. This goes very slowly, so it's not from 25 years poof.
And all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. But the women they might see that things are changing in their face. So then it's up to them if they want to do like a preventative Botox. But if we don't see any lines, we don't treat them because what do we need to treat them for?
What's the point?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a waste of money then, I think, and also time and energy to think you need it. But I will explain that to them, and they will go home happily, I think, and understand. Okay, well, I'm not there yet. I don't need it anymore, or not yet.
So we do say no to people.
Yeah, no, we do.
Okay.
If we don't stand
That's nice.
behind, their question or what they're asking of us, or if it's not feasible, or if it does not align with our personal vision of how we want to treat people. So if it's not safe, or if it doesn't fit, our aesthetic.
Or if they need surgery, for instance.
Yes, exactly.
Because if we will tell them if fillers will not be giving them enough lift, or if that's not the right treatment for them, we will tell them surgery is what you will need. And then I always discuss also with them. A lot of the clients, they say, well, that's a step too far for me. I don't want to do any surgery.
Okay.
And then I say, but then you've got your answer. Because this is the only treatment that you can do. And if you say, no, that's not what I want, then the only thing you are left to do is then to make peace with it. Because if you do not want to go into that, which is the best treatment, then there is nothing you can do but then to just accept it. And really, this is giving a lot of ease, to people as well, to say like, okay, maybe I always thought I needed it, but that's not where I want to go. So I'll have peace with it.
So we spend a lot of time, especially in our first consultation, we spent a lot of time, at least an hour, talking to people, explaining, like Desiree said, the aging process, why you look the way you look, what is possible, etc. And if they need more explanation, then they get the time they need.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot because it's kind of a black box. People, don't always know. You only see what you see on social media. You don't know what it entails, what the possibilities are, and information is gold. And then people make a very a well-informed choice that fits with them and for them and works for them.
I was gonna say well-informed, but also like
honest advice.
yes,
very much so.
and
Very straightforward.
giving power to the client, the patient. I think that it is. So in certain medical spheres, I feel like the relationship is very, patriarchal, almost like, the physician has the last word kind of thing. But then when we move into these areas where we're talking more of like electives and things that you're doing because you want to do them, so it's not necessarily because it's going to like save your life. Although, we can argue that psychologically it could, for sure in some cases. But I love how usually it is in these areas where we really work on teaching the client, the patient, things where the autonomy aspect of having a choice really comes in, like you said, like it is your choice to make, and then what is gonna weigh more, like, is it your peace of mind with being okay with surgery, for example, or is it your peace of mind of like, this is how I look right now, and you having to make that, like, nobody can make that choice for you.
No, we're just giving advice.
Yes. So I love hearing that, because I don't think that we hear that enough in a lot of spaces. Most people, will take your money, and in all kinds of places, right? We can talk about like the randomest things, not high commitment stuff, like hair. Like, I don't dye my hair because I feel like I cannot commit to something, and like maintaining something, so I just don't do it, right? But I have had enough people where I have gone and be like, I'm thinking about like doing like the blue streak or whatever, and then they're like, okay, Karina, let's do it. And then I'm like, and they don't even ask me like, do you have any concerns, with bleaching or whatever. But I have had people, I've had one hairdresser for like most of my life, and he will literally like tell me, he's like, like, I can do it for you, charge you money for it, but I know you enough to know that you go to the beach way too much, and it's not gonna work. You're gonna have to come in like every 2 weeks, and I don't think you're gonna love it, so we can do this, but I'm advising against it. And I love when you have that, and hair is low risk. I mean, I can just dye it brown back, right? But with your skin or your face,
exactly.
If you go somewhere and somebody's not informing you, and you do something like a surgery, right, or something that's a little bit more, like forever, then it's like
it can change your life. Yeah,
exactly.
No, and we have seen, unfortunately, also clients here in Aruba who have had permanent fillers, for example.
Okay.
And this really, it will give a bump, it can swell, it is painful, and they cannot remove it. It's permanent.
Wow.
It's forbidden, permanent fillers.
Okay.
But back in the days, it was used in the Netherlands as well, all over the world, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And people really thought, wow, permanent fillers, you forever do not have an indention or a line in some area. But they are really stuck with it, and it's painful, and it's really unfortunate. So, you do see that things changed, thankfully, and we learn from things in the past. And that's also why, we don't use certain fillers, because there's all different types of hyaluronic acid fillers on the market.
Okay.
But we only use the hyaluronic acid fillers who we know have not given any problems in the last 15 years internationally, being injected into clients, and really give you a good volume where you want, and it will stay there. It will not travel through the body. It will not slack, or and there's hyaluronic acid also that's very light, or it will only make like a pudding of your face, And this is also really important, that you are treated with the right product.
Products with a high safety profile.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that the companies put a lot of investment in their research and development areas.
So, that's a good segue into money.
Oh,
because, things cost money, right?
Yeah.
And we have to be honest and fair about it. I mean, everything in life costs money. I think in Aruba, we are desensitized into anything cost in regards to healthcare, because we have AZV, thank goodness. I am, very pro universal healthcare. I am very happy. I have lived in the US. I know what it looks like when you don't have that. But the reality is that you are not aware of how much certain things cost. So anytime that you're paying for a health service, people are like, what?
Yeah.
So I think it is important, what you said. A lot of research costs money, right? Into maintaining a good product, but it's not just that. The way products are imported, the way that they are stored, the way that, the other things that need to be used in order to apply a certain product. All of this costs money, right?
Oh, yeah.
It does. And the
we
fact,
learned that.
Yes, and we've had years of training and experience. We provide aftercare. There's a lot that goes into each and every, maybe even seemingly small treatment that we do.
Yeah. But also the fillers, we had to register our fillers, the Juvederm fillers. That's the ones that we're using, and it's like it's the Rolls Royce under the fillers, but it wasn't never registered in Aruba before. So, that means they weren't on here. They weren't on the island, and we had to register, and we had people come in and really make to see how we store it, how all these protocols we had to have in place, and then we could import it. But of course, it's tax over tax. So unfortunately, we cannot ask the lowest price because we do need to earn something from it. Otherwise,
that's a reality, right?
Yeah,
it is. And people ask, oh, why is this place charging that much? Why are you charging this much? You're not buying a product. You're buying a treatment, a service. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
You're not buying a pair of shoes.
Yep.
It's not the experience. It's the treatment. It's everything that goes into it.
And I think that's an important thing, and maybe you can help us out with that. But I have learned that being the daughter of a very Dutch guy, I ask a lot of questions. I have always been that person, that kid. Like I just ask. If I don't understand something, I will ask until I get it, and I do that in health settings as well, in all settings really. And that is something that anytime I talk to people and they tell me, oh, I went to the specialist or whatever and they told me this, but I don't really know what that means. And I'm like, did you ask? And then they're like, no, because it's like I didn't want to, I felt rushed or whatever. But I think that we as a community are not asking enough questions in regards to these treatments, right? Regardless of where you go, if you go to somebody who is an aesthetic physician or not, because that is the reality. We're gonna say that the reality is that people are going to other types of people for these services. And then my question is like, maybe it's because we don't know and you don't know what you don't know, but I want to encourage people to ask questions. Like if you're not sure if the person who is offering you a service is supposed to be doing that, whatever type of service it is, ask them. Even if it's like dyeing your hair blue. I know it sounds like silly, but there's science that goes into bleaching hair and all that stuff. Like I have seen, right? Yeah. Because it's chemicals, it's and like ask more questions. Like if you saw a trend online, because we do see them, we see a lot of really beautifully edited and perfectly posed pictures on social media. We see them. I'm also like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like the pictures y'all see on Instagram, there's probably like another 20 in my camera roll that went before that. That is reality, because I'm not gonna put something out there if I don't like it, and that's my choice, and I get to make that choice. But when you decide to go to a place to help you achieve that, right, that image that you have, ask the right questions. And I do not necessarily know what the right questions in this scenario would be. So I'm going to ask you, like, if you could encourage people to ask the right questions, what do those questions sound like? What should people be asking other than, like, where did you get your training and certification? Like, I'm that person, I want to ask that. But but what else, right?
Yeah. No, I'm so happy when people ask questions, because then I understand, they've been listening.
Yeah.
And I'm giving a lot of information. So I always tell my clients, please ask questions, really, because of this reason.
Mm-hmm.
But good questions, I think, are like, what products are you using? Is it search? Did they do scientific research on it? How long will it last? Because I think a lot of clients, they think the fillers only last up to 6 months. But, I'll tell you a secret. It stays up to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
5 years, clients are telling me.
That is so
like,
nice
really?
to hear.
No. But, I mean, the effect will go down, because, your body will break it down. But after 5 years, then everything will be dissolved. So you have to be careful not to inject on injection on injection, because you will be overfilled. And the result will not be natural anymore. So this is really something that me and Dr. Noreen, we really take care of, to see that you do not get overfilled. Other questions, I think, like when will I see the end result? Because for fillers, you will see the effect right away, but it's mostly swelling. After 6 to 8 weeks, you see the end result.
Okay.
It really takes some time for the filler to attract all that water, to integrate with the rest of the tissue, and to really give that natural result. After 6 to 8 weeks, you won't feel anything anymore. But if you look in your mirror in 2 weeks after the treatment, you won't like what you see. You know why? All the swelling is gone. So you
Yeah.
think, hey, where did my fillers go? I don't see anything anymore. So then we can get some phone calls. Berlinda, you prepare yourself.
You get used to the results very quickly.
And then Berlinda
So
will
do
tell
not
our
do
clients.
do not do it a
Wait.
week before going on your trip, where you thought you were gonna like, you know.
And not only that, I mean, a week before your trip, should something happen,
Yeah.
we're not there to help you. Take that into account as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And what else? I mean, of course, safety profile of the products. What are our qualifications? What am I going to invest time-wise and repeated treatments in this? You know, financially as well.
Commitment. Is it low commitment? Is
absolutely.
it high commitment?
What will you do with pictures?
What are you going to do with the pictures? Exactly, privacy. You really, if you don't want us to use your pictures, no. Our default is to not use it. You have to tell us if you want us to use your pictures.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll ask you. We'll ask
Yeah.
you, and we'll register it.
And I mean,
Good.
yeah, there are certain pictures that look fantastic befores and afters, and we'd really like to use them. But if you say no, it's a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Complications,
Yeah.
risks.
Yeah, what to know right after the treatment.
Exactly.
Bruising, swelling,
Aftercare.
redness.
Before care, and ask for before and afters. If we have them, we will gladly show them to you.
So that people can see what they're buying into, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, you have to make a choice that you're happy with, and yeah. Okay, so a couple of questions, because I look at the time and it always flies, and it's like I've been doing this for a while, but it always flies. But some of the questions that I have gotten is like and you sort of already went into it, like, you know, you would rather not treat anybody under 25 because it also has to do with like the brain's maturity and, you know, when
Yeah.
it's developed fully or not. But when people think of different types of treatments, like do you and I feel like I already know the answer, but we'll ask it anyway. Do you feel like there is an age where you're gonna tell somebody like, you know, don't come at all, or is it something like you know, we don't do people above this age, or like
No.
does that even like does that have you know, as much weight? Because I feel from what I've heard, you really need to see the person, right, and figure out like
Yeah, no,
We need
age
to
is
see
just a thing. But I mean, under 18, we do not treat.
No, that's against the law.
That's against the
That's
law.
against the law.
Exactly. But there is mature clients who really can tell me honestly, like it does affect their life, but it's not that they are wanting a trend or they want to really change something. But then yes, of course, you know, I will listen to you, and I think if you tell me that you've thought about it enough, thoroughly, exactly, yes, then we can definitely go ahead.
It's about the person and you know who you are. What's your spirit? You know, cómo te parada en vida.
Yeah.
You take into account the people's personalities, their profession, and how they just are in life. You have people that are 80 and they look still because of the vibrancy. So you try to get the physical to match the spiritual.
Yeah, that's definitely
kind
right.
of keep that in tune, because it does a lot with you. I mean, how you feel inside and if what you see in the mirror. Obviously, there are processes we cannot influence, but if you can get that a little bit more in balance, in line, it does help people a lot.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch upon, you said 25, right? Now that's
Yeah.
just. What are your thoughts about, let's say, someone arbitrary age, 19, and has a really recessed chin that makes that person feel very insecure.
That's
individual
what I was
things.
talking
Yeah,
about.
okay.
I have done that in the past, but that girl then really, how do I say? It's like a stable person, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we always
They don't
talk to
come
them.
with like an Instagram picture and be like, I want to have what she did.
No.
Because
That's why we
Yeah.
always talk to them, to get a feel, you know.
And and if you are thinking,
Yes.
I would like to come, but I'm under 25, just make the appointment. I'm happy to tell you honestly, yes or no.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes.
And just give it
and
some
Dr.
thought.
Noreen too. Yeah.
where it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
Would you have any like advice or tips for people who might be feeling pressured from like stuff like social media and maybe even their peers, right? In regards to how we look online and in person even. What is something that you would want people to, be reminded of or keep in mind when they see these things and start to feel like a certain way and might, immediately feel like they want to do something to, their faces. And also, because what I can imagine can and probably will happen is that if they see something and they feel this pressure, maybe they come to you first, and then you'll have a conversation with them, advising maybe against it because professionally you don't think that it's necessary, and then they might go somewhere else and where they'll take their money and just do it. So we want to work on people's like internal motivation, hopefully that they don't get to that point. So what is something that you could tell maybe especially young ladies, I would say, but everyone who's like scrolling online and starting to feel like I need to do something just because like I don't look like that? It's like a lot of questions, right?
Yeah, no, but well, what I always tell them is we all know, what's online is not real.
It's like we know that, but still.
No, but really, I need to say that first because that's really, really something. But second-wise, I think what I would really like to tell these clients is if I take a thorough look at their faces, not something that they might see online might look good on them. And that's really what me and Dr. Noreen are doing also with our 3D imaging. We can really show you that it doesn't look good on you. Maybe when you have quite a round face and you have a chin that's a little bit retruded, you feel like, hey, my lips are not so thick. I would like to have thicker lips. But then if you will make more rounded lips, your face will even look more rounded. And this is really something that might not benefit your own beauty. So there's really things that we look at, and we will explain to you that which is something that is possible, but also something that is possible but won't look good on you because of balance. A beautiful face is all about balance, and then I think a beautiful face is there's not one standard beautiful face. I think when you have the strength within yourself. And you feel good, and you are in balance with yourself, I think then your beauty will radiate anyway.
For sure. I am convinced that people that I think are cute or pretty, and then they say something like really mean or stupid sometimes. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I feel like immediately, right?
Yes,
it's like, so that whole thing of like beauty being, in the eye of the beholder is very true, but remember that it's you first, and that you kind of have to be okay with that. Like, if anything, that's something that I can like give to people. Like, please do not just go do something because
someone else
did it, right?
Yeah, and I'm happy you touched upon that because I'm sure you get that a lot as well. Someone says, yes, my friend did this. Why doesn't it look the same for me? I want the same as my friend. Well, because you're two completely different individuals. That's
genetically.
Exactly, because we get that question a lot. People just think that person had Botox or fillers, looks fantastic, and
it should look fantastic on me too.
But that's exactly, it's just an extra on what they say. They just explain everybody's different anatomy, etc.
Yeah, it's really important to feel confident with yourself, and this will come with age. Thank God.
I have heard that enough times, and as I like grow older as well, and you as a young person, you're always like, no, it's not it, or whatever.
But really, it is.
Like, it's one of those things where you don't want to tell, other people that they were right, but
Yeah, no, really.
We help you along that path to help you age gracefully. We sprinkle some fairy dust and help you look good.
Love that.
So.
Because, and that's the thing, right? Aging is not something that we should be ashamed of.
Absolutely not.
It's a natural process.
There's no such thing as anti-aging. We don't do that.
No.
Oh, right, that word. Right.
I always try to. But really, I always try to talk with my clients. Well, look back at everything you've achieved already. You should be so proud of yourself. And so, aging is good because through aging you have achieved all these wonderful things. And look at where you're standing right now.
Exactly.
And this is really something I like to focus on. I am aging. I see it happening in my face too. But I think, who cares? I'm happy,
Yes.
It's and thank God I have some Botox and fillers. My little friends.
And maybe that line that you got because of that very stressful period, or maybe a very sad period, that's there because of that. And we can help polish that maybe for you to get closure on that maybe chapter of your life. That's also an important thing. But you deserve your lines. You've earned them.
Yeah.
Right. That is something that you mentioned that when you pass 25, you start to see so I have done eyeliner. I started doing eyeliner in 5th grade. I had a Green Day poster in my bedroom. Like, yeah. So I love rock music. For those of you that didn't know that,
Best
but
album, Dookie. Sorry, gotta say it.
I love that. But you know, they used to wear eyeliner, right? And so I would look at them, and I started using eyeliner at that point. And my mom always used to use eyeliner too. So at some point, she was like, when I started using it, she's like, yeah, I feel like I can't stop it. And I used to just put it like inside, and my mom always used to do like, you know, the cat liner, right? And she's like, you know, it's really nice, but you have to practice, because it's like you have to do it for yourself. And so I have been practicing eyeliner for many years.
It's on fleek.
Very neat.
Thank you. But people will ask me like, "Karina, you know, how can you teach me like the eyeliner ways?" And I'm like, it's so funny, because that is the first place what I have noticed aging, and not in like a bad way by all means, but your texture of your eyelid changes.
Yeah.
Your makeup, it's cake.
No. You know?
Yeah.
So I have to like stretch my eye a little bit and then do the line now. But it's what you said. It's like, it's not even an issue. Like, I have achieved like wonderful things. I have no problem stretching my eye a little bit for doing eyeliner. But I do feel like anytime that I will feel like I want to adjust something, because I do want to keep wearing eyeliner, and if something's going in the way of that, then I will do something about it. And I don't want to hear anybody telling me why I shouldn't have done it or whatever. So I love how we talked a lot today, which is really, really nice, on how these are really personal choices.
Very much so.
Right?
Yeah.
It's, I don't think anybody can or should pressure somebody else into
No.
you know, making a choice to either choose for treatment or not. But it's really, really personal, and it should be for you because of how it's gonna like impact your life. And
You have to look in the mirror every day.
Yes, and in some cases even functionality, right? You know, we were talking about like the armpits, for example. But there's like also, you know, functionality with your face, even.
No, really.
Expressions and
No,
stuff
but
like that.
tiredness, you know, you can look tired. You can get your coworkers, your boss telling you, "Hey, what did you do this weekend?
That's-
Go party?" No, and you sleep good, you eat healthy, you know, everything, but you always look tired because you have bags under the eyes.
Yep.
And this can really affect your life too, you know. People always asking you, "Are you tired? Are you tired?"
Yep.
No, I am healthy. I'm feeling good,
Yes.
you know. And then it's really something that we can help you with, you know, to not look tired anymore.
Yep.
It's not that I will make your eye bags disappear completely,
No.
but I can make them not so visible in your face anymore.
It's
and
the-
just freshen your face.
Yes, and I have seen that, like, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of Middle Eastern people, and I have that too. Like, I use color corrector, but you know, under my eyes, even if I sleep well, like I have a tendency of like darkening, and that's genetics. That's all
We
it is,
cannot take
right?
that away.
No, but it's like getting to the point where you don't hate your heritage, but you can also like feel okay with it, right? It's finding that middle ground for yourself.
You cannot change it.
Exactly.
Really. It's all about it. You can hate it, but you know, it's not something you can change. So better make peace with it.
Yes.
And
Last
yourself.
question, and I already asked Noreen, but please, so everybody can hear it, if you know, you could tell somebody to do like the easiest skincare routine for, especially for like young people out there, and young everybody, please, young everybody, not just ladies, but everybody. What is like the easiest and most important thing to keep in mind? Skincare.
Shall we say it together?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
SPF.
Yes, I was going to say sunscreen, but
Oh,
it's the same
sunscreen,
thing.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
SPF sunscreen.
Yeah.
Please slather it on. Estoy looking at the horrible.
Yep.
It's horrible, the sun here. So
Yeah. No, really,
Sunscreen. It is.
It's
And not only
sunscreen.
for aging, but for your health. Skin cancer
Yes.
is a concern.
Yeah.
It is. So also use the sunscreen on your ears.
Thank
Cool.
you, Carolina.
And
The
preferably.
2-finger rule.
Your hands, your arms, anything
and
exposed,
don't
slather.
forget your neck.
Yes.
Yes.
Because that will age
Yes, the
very
back of your hands.
fast. Yeah.
Yes.
And preferably UVA and UVB filters. That's very important too.
Okay.
Ooh, an extra tip. The tinted ones, the tinted sunscreens have iron oxides in them, and those have an extra spectrum of protection in them as well. It's very helpful for pigmentation melasma.
Good to know that. So
Fun fact of the day.
yes, because it doesn't only make like getting ready easier, but it also has added value. Look at that.
Fairy dust.
Yes. So I'm gonna call Swift and talk about my sunscreen choices. Because I have untinted one. But yeah, sunscreen is very important. Ladies, thank you so much for today's conversation. I feel like an hour is never enough because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for
It was very
accepting
nice.
and being so excited about it. I swear, I'm usually always excited about the people I talk to because obviously I get to choose who I talk to. But but I'm excited, extra excited when people are excited too, right? Because I mean, that's what I would like to feel every time that people are excited to talk to me too. So thank you so much for coming in today, teaching us a little bit about what what you do, what it is to be an aesthetic physician, and encouraging people to make better choices.
Conscious
You're very
choices.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us, all of us,
Yeah, really.
crowding your studio.
Yes.
And we love your radio station.
Yay! All right. So, as I already mentioned, I will be doing a quiz during the week about stuff we talked about. Remember that you can find this episode again on Facebook and YouTube, Sincerely Carolina and Cool FM, and it will be available on Tuesday. I was late last week or this past week because I was sick on Tuesday, so I didn't upload it on time, but I will upload it on time this week. So it will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on Tuesday. Thank you to my awesome sponsors for allowing me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Today was, an interesting conversation. Thank you to Toto, to Crest, to Sarah V. Remember, fun giveaways. I have 2 coming up this week, so participate. Follow me on Instagram, Sincerely.Carolina. And let me know if you want to hear about something that I haven't talked about yet, or maybe I have talked about it, but it's been a while, because I want to know what you care about. Anyways, have a happy Saturday. Enjoy your day. Don't be too rushed, and do not yell at people, and do not be honking at people. And, it's Saturday, so yeah, be nice. And I will see you again next week. Bye. Hi, I'm Carolina, and I am the host of Sincerely Carolina, a series of educational conversations about current social issues with local and international experts. Make sure you tune in every Saturday on Cool FM from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bye!
Upgrade, boss smile, Cook Crest